listen, I don't sit there and say, well, I'm the one that bring in all of the money. I don't put no limits on what it is that she can spend. 9 times out of 10, half of the stuff that she's buying is for the household anyway. I don't sit there and penny pinch or hold it over her head that listen, I'm the one. She know that I bring in the majority of the resources. I'm not going to sit there and throw it in her face every single time, but it doesn't diminish the role that she adds into what it is that we building because we're both valuable. She's just valuable in a different way. I may be the one that bring in the resources, but she may be the one that spends the majority of the time rearing my child, right? Or I may be building this particular business, but she's handling that business. Right. A lot of the business that I do is dependent upon her because she's the one that fills the secretary role / assistant role, in addition to the other assistant that she's training to then replace her and take on a much bigger role in the things that we building. So my point is that it's all integrated. It doesn't work when you have one person stepping outside of their purpose or their role of what it takes in order to be successfully married. Most Black people don't understand that because they're so busy looking for a partnership and they too busy trying to go 50-50 and they don't even understand that words mean things. You subconsciously training yourself to think about your relationship the wrong way. And that's why they never will be successfully married and they cannot bring in a great household and rear up great children because they don't understand what it means to be in a relationship. They really don't.
Okay, but Anton, if you said what you got, that's the majority of the married people.
All people that are married.
That's married, right?
I think
you said that, right?
People, I think that most people that are married.
I got it. So the majority. Then, if that's the case, Anton, then why is this even a topic?
Why is what even a topic?
Wait. Oh, let me finish. If majority of the people shares you and Miss Carrie experience, this is majority. Then why in the fuck are we even talking about this? Because this is a minority problem.
To teach people that are single how to start looking at themselves and how to plan for being married and looking at themselves as husband and wives instead of leaning towards celebrities to like Tiana Taylor and fucking Jeezy and Jenny Ma as for what couples goals are. That's not realistic for what couples goals are. If you want a great household, if you want a legacy, if you want great children, it comes differently than what y'all being programmed in social media. And that's why it's a topic. Because it's important for us to discuss and it's important for y'all to understand what being married and what being in a relationship really is about. That's why it's important because most people got it wrong that are single, looking to get married. They don't know. They don't have a clue. That's why I don't understand how y'all.
I mean, I guess it's case closed because based on your logic, if a majority of the married people is living in a situation of you and Miss Spencer and Blitz, right?
Yeah.
That means these topics wouldn't even come up because these topics we mostly talk about married people. You're talking about a man shopper.
Y'all don't want to talk to married people. Y'all want to talk to people
I talk to married people. My sister's married.
Y'all don't.
My
Everybody that y'all follow on YouTube.
I know
I can't believe this.
Everybody that y'all follow that's giving y'all advice on YouTube is not even married. Y'all not following
my real life.
Listen. I see the majority of the Black women trying to tell me what I don't fucking know about Black women when I've been married for 2 fucking decades.
But see, the only reason this is why I mean, and I can't believe ain't nobody stepping up because I hear different shit. I literally will hear you talk about the divorce rate in America amongst Black people. But wait, hold up, wait. Listen what I'm saying. But now, according to you, it is no divorce rate that's high. According to you, everybody, a majority of the people is living like you.
Because of
a majority of the marriages like you. I'm lost now.
When do I talk about the divorce rate? You've never heard me talk about the divorce rate. You've never heard me talk about the divorce rate. I don't even know what the divorce rate is.
You trolling me. You never.
I don't even know when did I talk about the divorce rate? When? Name it. Find it. When did I talk about the divorce rate?
Black marriages is at an all-time high. A majority of Black marriages are successful, according to Anton.
When did I talk about the divorce rate? I'm open to being wrong. I need to know. When did I talk about the divorce rate?
This is crazy.
When did I talk about the divorce rate? The thing that I do is I hold people accountable. And B. Taylor, you know it's true. I hold men accountable and I hold women accountable. I'm an equal accountability smoke giver. And what I say is, when I see guys come up on my panel when they talk about what it is that what they chick didn't do, I kick their ass and I say, nah, fam, you capping. And I hold them accountable. When I see women out here doing crazy shit, I hold them accountable. I don't talk about no divorce rate. My whole brand is how to be successfully married.
You do tell. Okay, so that's also confusing because I gave you praise on a video you did with a guy who had still sleeping with his baby mama or whatever, and you were like, "Why are you not marrying her?" And you was pressing him like, "You already doing all these things. Why don't you just, you know?" So I respect that because it's a lot of men out here thinking it's okay to just sleep with their baby mamas and not marry her, and the child's involved, and they just I'm waiting type shit, right? But then it was like I did tune into a video where you're like, "Don't get married." I was like, "Well, which one is it?" Because you're preaching
No,
marriage.
I say people should not get married based off of the fact that they refuse to update family court laws, and that I also say that they need to make sure that they divest themselves against the things that women are now subjecting themselves to. I think it's a difference between being married, and I say this 100 times out of 100. It's the difference between being married and being successfully married. And I also say that I don't think that men should get married under duress or under certain circumstances that's being presented to them based off of what we create society to be today. I think that it's a way that you do everything successful. And I do not advocate for men to do things that's not in their best interest. But I do think that there's a way to be successfully married if that's what you decide to do. But I'm not going to force nobody to get married. I think that people should be happy regardless of what state that they're in. Whether you're single or whether you're married, you have to be whole before you get into a relationship in the first place. And so if you decide that you want to get married, and I can give you the blueprint for that. But I don't advocate for anybody to get married.
But I'm saying that kind of makes logical point when you were saying
wait. Anton, you said you don't advocate for marriage
to do anything. What I say is that if you decide that you want to get married, then there's a way for you to be successfully married. I don't advocate for men to talk to women that have children and then become step baby daddies. I don't advocate for men to get married without a prenup. I don't advocate for men to have sex out of wedlock and then have children out of wedlock. But I do advocate that if you're going to have children, it is a statistical fact that if they're raised in a two-parent household with married parents, they have a much better chance to being successful than kids that are raised out of wedlock. That's what I say.
Anton, you also said having a woman by your side, you become more successful. Like you said, Rita has opened doors.
Married, data says it. I referenced the data.
Yeah, but you were telling people to get married.
You were successful than men that aren't. That's a fact.
Yeah, but you were telling people a positive of why to get married. You also always tell us the positives of what Rita does and why it's a positive to be married. Yeah, exactly.
But
you reference your life like it's you say it all the time.
That is the part of what being successfully married looks like. So I paint the picture of guys that are successfully married, and then I also create the narrative to help people to understand what being unsuccessfully married look like, so that they can compare the two. I don't know why that's such a issue. Why that's hard to figure out. Is men that's not successfully married and is men that are successfully married. Here's the differences. This is what you need to do if this is what you decide to subject yourself to.
Let me ask you this, Anton, since you said, like, okay, statistically speaking, like, it's better. Yes, I do agree. It's better when two parents are in the home. But what if that home is toxic and that children know? And you can't just sweep certain things under the rug. Daddy's doing infidelity. Mom's stressed out paying all the bills. It's a toxic environment. The children are not happy. Nobody's happy. There are children to this day that said, I'm so glad that my parents separated. I think as long as the parents are active in the children's life and they have a good community and support group, then that happens. But to say people should stay together based on children when it's a toxic environment for everyone involved, and the children like are suffering like through school, they're not doing well. Like it's a lot of things that can happen. And I'm not talking about abuse. I'm just talking about just a very toxic situation where two people, like what does the Bible say? It even says in the Bible, what is that where a man rather live on the roof of a house than under the roof of a, you know what I'm talking about. Which Bible verse? No, look, I'm a young Christian.
I'm listening to you. I'm not saying
no, I'm saying, isn't it a Bible statement where it's like I'd rather live on the roof of a house than under?
You gotta substantiate your argument.
Huh?
You gotta substantiate your argument. I'm listening to you.
I'm not gonna
quote it for you. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, can somebody in the chat, they know what I'm talking about, where you rather live on top of the
It says better to live on the corner of the roof than a house with a quarrelsome wife.
Thank you. Okay. So it even says that in the Bible. Okay. Look, I'm a young Christian. Okay. Still get my life together with the Lord. Okay. So I don't know all my verses, but I remember that one. And it's just like, if the Bible says that, then like, why can't you understand that not every situation works?
So basically what you're saying is you're using an anomaly in order to substantiate the data.
I'm not using an anomaly. I'm using I've seen families have broken up because of it's more toxic being together than apart. They can co-parent.
Well, that's the same thing that happened to Jeezy though, right? He filed for divorce. I don't
think that's the truth. I think that people listen, you still got to account for the human element in everything, right? It's almost like a car, right? A car is not meant for you, or the internet is not meant for you to do some of the most negative shit. But when you add the human element into it, that then changes the dynamics, right? The reality is still this. The data still says that it's much better for a child to be raised in a two-parent household, because regardless of what you think is toxic, they still get an idea and they get some level of dedication from both parents, right? But at the same time, it's still the responsibility of those two individuals to create a better environment for the kids. So you can have two broke as fuck two people on Section 8 stay together, right? And they can be in a household together and be married and create a toxic environment for 20 kids.
Then why don't you tell all the that's baby daddies to go back to their baby mama, regardless of whatever happened with the situation? Go back to your baby mama.
People shouldn't have never even got together and had kids.
They should have, but you can't take the child back. The child is here. So what's the solution?
So
y'all always say what should have, the child is here.
Hold on. Because you're leaving out one factor. What makes you think that woman is going to create a better environment for those children just because she's no longer with that guy? If she was toxic with him, she's toxic without him.
That's true for certain situations, yes. But also, if the man is adding to the toxic environment and they're toxic together, and the man is
they were toxic together before they had children.
He's not frustrated.
Yeah. They was toxic together before they had kids.
Yep.
Can agree to that, because sometimes kids bring out different sides of people, and you like, damn, I thought I knew you.
I think that people use children as an excuse as to why they can't be accountable for who they are.
But they were all, listen,
you know who that dude was.
But once the children are in the situation, it gets maximized. And you know how a relationship changes when a child, especially when they're young. You guys don't have time.
Telling me you didn't know who that child was? You didn't know who that man was before?
No. I'm saying
some people do change though.
They do.
The marriage changes. They have less sex. Come on, it's a lot that happens.
If you're a good person, you are going to be a good person. The core of who that person is going to be the same, regardless of if they with you or they're not with you. As a matter of fact, when I see people get with another person and then all of a sudden they become a good person just because that person didn't change them.
But you could be a good person and have flaws. You could be a good person and don't have to be perfect. I think that's
what you identify.
A good daddy and a shitty husband.
Flaws was exactly. For y'all to be so smart and so wise and have so much woman intuition and all of that. You telling me that y'all can't tell who the man is that y'all lay down with before y'all lay down with him? Y'all don't know who he is?
Yeah.
Cap.
You're making it seem like people don't change though.
That man don't become a bad father just because all of a sudden he don't become a bad father all of a sudden.
You don't know how a man
How do you know that, Anton?
Anton,
If you guys don't have kids together and neither one of you had kids, how do you know what type of father he's going to be?
The same way that we able to vet effectively to determine whether or not a woman is going to be a great mother. It's certain signs that come up. It's certain signs that come along with it. Is she nurturing?
The baby comes out and they don't want to breastfeed because they don't want to miss their
nurturing. Does she have a sweet spirit? Is she the type of person that likes to do for other people? It's all of those things that you can observe about a woman way before you ever have children with her. She don't turn into a different person. She may go through postpartum, but in the core of who that woman is the same, and it does not change just because she had kids. She don't turn into an evil person just because she had kids. That's crazy. The problem is that the things that y'all like about people is not the things that y'all should have been vetting for as far as a relationship. And so when you laid down with them, you laid down with them based off of the fact that you liked them and they were sexy and they were 6 feet and they could lay that pipe down on you, and you decided to make them take that rubber off and you had children with him. But that is not the thing that you was looking for and that you was vetting for when you decided to lay down with him. You wasn't trying to figure out whether or not he was a good person, he was a great father, what his job history was, how he treated his mother, whether he went to church. You wasn't checking for none of that shit. Now you want to go to church because you got a kid. He wasn't going to church before he had a kid with you.
What if he has a great relationship with his mother? What if you have a great relationship with his mother? Like, you're using one case scenario and like applying it to all situations. Yes, are women the best betters? No, because once our heart is involved, like we start ignoring certain things and red flags. That's like, but we're not good at vetting. I admit that I'm not good at vetting. Obviously, like I'll admit that.
If you're not good at vetting,
like,
then you
but I think the only part about that
if you're not good at vetting, then you should not be having sex with the person.
But you don't know you're not a good veteran until you get your shit in that situation and be like,
"Oh, that's not how you figure it out." No,
that is.
If you know that you are not a good veteran,
whatever mess that I made, I have to lie in it. Nobody else do.
Listen, B. Taylor. If you telling me that you're not a good veteran, then that means that you shouldn't be dating.
Okay.
Then you don't have that problem.
Okay.
Now you need to start doing some self-development.
Okay.
And you need to have some people around you to vet more effectively. But you should not be dating if you gonna say
I don't agree. I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Then
I would say that to any other woman. But I'm saying that there are women out there who are dating and they don't know that they're not dating, right? Well, because you only know what you know. Wait, hold on. You only know what you know. So if you grew up in a toxic environment, my daddy's always cheating on you, mama stressed out all the time, that's what you see. And then you got your aunties cutting up windows and cars and slicing. Like, you start to think that shit's normal. So you're like,
you don't think that that's normal. You know it's bad.
Wait, I'm just saying, like, if you grew up in a toxic environment, especially if you saw your parents doing it, and you like, well, shit, the nigga doing this, and these are red flags. These red flags my daddy got. Like, you ignore these things because you think that that's normal until you're actually in it and be like, wait a second, like, no
I don't. Listen, as messed up as people's environment is, I still believe that people know what's normal, and you can see a chick that jump out of the car and she could be fucking sexy red, but listen, sexy red know that she's ratchet. She knows that she's ratchet. She knows that she's hood. She knows that she's ghetto. You don't think that she's normal. She celebrate the fact that she's abnormal in order to continue to create the narrative that she should be listened to and celebrated. That's the thing that makes her unique in her mind. I think that everybody knows their place in society. They know when they fucked up. You know when you a robber. You know when you a dirty dick nigga. You know when you a ratchet hoe. It's not hard to figure out. We got too many context clues. We got too much to compare ourselves against. We know what's really happening. You know if you ghetto and you going into a certain neighborhood because you know you can't act the same way when you get out there. You know when you go into a nice restaurant to shut the fuck up because you already know that they're not going to accept that shit. You know. You still go on a restaurant and act ratchet. No matter where you from, you know. You go into a certain neighborhood and you be like, damn, it's different over here.
I'm glad that you have all these expectations that people do not live up every day. People still go into restaurants, don't know how to act. People still go out, don't know how to act.
They choose not to act. They choose not to act.
They know.
They know what the fuck they doing. Viral moment. They recording themselves. It's a choice to be ratchet.
They know what they doing. They choose not to be that way. They choose to. You know it. All of y'all know better. We all fucking know better when we doing what we doing. We choose to do what we do. Just like we choose to have sex and to see it through without no rubber. We choose to have kids with people and to see it through knowing that they fucked up. We choose that shit.
Okay, I don't disagree.
That's not an excuse.
I don't disagree, but I also think that we should also not label every situation the same.
Why not?
Because it's not.
True.
And you wouldn't
You gotta
know.
have some standards in order to hold people accountable. So you gotta have a baseline. You gotta have a baseline. Otherwise, anybody can do what they want to do when they want to do it. You gotta have a standard. You gotta have a baseline.
But a lot of women don't have. I think what the problem is, a lot of women don't have boundaries, and a lot of women don't have standards.
Then they should close their legs until they figure it out.
They don't even know how. They don't got boundaries and standards for that either.
They gotta close their legs until they figure it out.
Well, it's easier said than done. If that's the case, then we would have. People wouldn't still be getting pregnant. People still wouldn't be having sex. It's so much easier to say close your legs, and nobody's listening.
Anton, I told you.
Men are telling women these days, I'm not gonna marry you unless I get the box. I gotta see what that box is like. Oh,
okay,
I what
happened? Okay, so what happened to having some level of standard?
You got men nowadays with the culture that's pushing the go on dates to get the cat and give up the box. Like they expect that shit. And if you're not gonna give it up, they're like, I ain't about to marry no girl I can't test out. All these men are lying. The same men that say close your legs are the same men that be wanting to have sex and bust a woman down and expect her body count to be low. But you expect to have sex with every woman that you take out. You expect to test the cat out before you commit or before you marry that woman. So a lot of y'all also need to take responsibility. If men want women to keep their legs closed, then stop adding to the problem and making it a standard for women to give up the cat in the ring. Because a lot of women are going to follow the men. So if the men are saying, I'm not going to give you a ring until you give me that box, then a lot of women are like, well, shit, well, I might as well do this and I might as well do that. Well, he promised me a ring.
Taylor, you know when y'all get, y'all know when y'all getting finesse.
Also, the men accountable in there.
You know when you getting finesse.
Some women don't know, though.
Ain't gonna get you no goddamn.
Women don't know.
Some women, I told you, you gotta. No, some women don't know.
You know that dude ain't giving you no ring. You know you getting finesse.
No,
if that was the case,
you actually don't know because
they don't know.
They don't know.
If that was the case, it would be less baby mamas.
The thing that you don't want to admit is that you wanted to have sex with him. Just see, you keep trying to put it on the men. Y'all want to have sex with that man.
Now you're not being this.
No, because you keep saying he's saying, well, I'm not gonna give you a ring unless you open up your legs. You wanted to have sex with him. You didn't do it as a result of like some criteria so you can get a ring. You did it because you wanted to open up your legs to him too. You probably wanted it more than he did.
That's a part of building a relationship. What are you talking about?
It's not.
Yes, it is. It's a part of building
dating. If you
connection with a person.
If you ever want to get married, then you cannot lead with dating and you cannot lead with sex.
Yeah, I agree. You should never lead with sex. You should never lead with sex.
Most of these women are using that as an excuse when they wanted to get that. They wanted to let that dude bust them down. You're not gonna sit here and convince me that the only criteria, oh man, I opened my legs up because he said that these men are saying that they're not gonna marry me unless they test driving. What you mean? You hopped on the motorcycle before he even had an opportunity to pull out his pants.
I don't know about that. I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Listen. I can go through my DMs right now. Do any, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by his toe. Same day, if I wanted to, I can have that hoe in my bedroom.
That's
right
crazy.
now.
I mean,
no criteria.
But those are hoes.
No standards. No, none of that.
But those are hoes, and I know it is hoes out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not excuse. I'm not.
Are most women hoes? Are most women hoes, Anton?
Yes.
Are most men hoes?
No, we're hoe makers.
Woo! Homemakers! Lord of mercy.
And here's the real question. This is the thing that women need to really start to ask themselves. And this is the part that they're not going to be honest about. Do they know where they slot in the eyes of men?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters. I think it's how you carry yourself.
Oh, it matters.
It matters.
Do they know where they slot in the eyes of men? That's the question. See, that's the question of all of these different women that have these conversations on these panels, and they keep talking about, men ain't shit, or femininity, or what women should be doing, or the black culture, or black men and black women. The thing that I've never ever here, I challenge you, B. Taylor. Have a conversation, do a show, and ask your female viewers and followers, do you know where you slot in the eyes of men? Are you a hoe? Are you a housewife? Are you a woman that men look at as an opportunity to either bust down or a woman that they could possibly take home to their mother? Do y'all even know where y'all slot on an individual basis in the eyes of men?
I think you should know if you haven't met the family and the mother, you've never been a girlfriend.
Have the real ones come up on your panel and then actually tell women exactly where it is that they slide in their mind. I bet you it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind.
Well, Anton, I did say do a video or a thing regarding teaching men and teaching women to vet separately.
I don't think that most women know where they slot at all.
Should we ask all men that though?
Huh?
Should we ask all men or the men that we really care to hear from?
No, you got to ask men that's going to be honest with you, because a lot of guys is going to simp out for you and they're going to tell you the thing that they want you to hear. You got to ask men that's going to tell you the honest to God truth. That's the difference. Men that don't have any vested interest in seeing whether or not, it's not going to matter to them whether you kick them off the panel or not, right? Not the men that's going to super chat you to death because for some reason they think that they're going to fuck you one day. You got to actually ask the men that give a fuck about telling you the truth so that they can get to a resolution, or they can get to some solution with you as to how it is that we can start to solve for these problems within the mind, within the minds of the people. You can't ask the simps. You gotta ask
okay, so here's my accountability. I've talked to my exes and like saw where I went wrong. Like, for a fact, the men wanted to marry me. There were things that did not, I'll take my accountability, and there was things that they did, right? So I think, I think women, if you do find yourself repeating the same thing over and over again, the best thing is to ask your ex, like, what was it about me that, didn't see marriage or whatever. And they'll tell you exactly where and what went wrong and what made them change their mind about it. And then those are things that you can work on. Ask your ex what your flaw is, because everybody toxic.
That's tricky though.
Because the ex might just tell you what you want to hear and want to smash.
Well, he might.
No. It would have to be obviously.
No, not you. But yeah,
y'all will move on. But my exes deeply cared about me for sure.
I believe that though.
Well,
I promise you, when I moved into my home, both of my exes helped move me in and put shit together.
Oh, hell no. What kind of simps is these?
What the hell? Not you friends with your exes, and both of them niggas was in the same room.
No, because they know that I'm a good woman.
No. See, that's a red flag right there.
No.
Are they gay?
No. What?
Hell no.
I don't keep it. No friend, no ex friend.
They was working together to get you in the house?
Wait, did they know?
No, but me and my son's fathers, we went all Christmas shopping together. Like,
poly relationship, goddamn. That's the whole poly law.
No, it's not. They just like, they know that I'm a woman.
You on your own on that one, B. Taylor.